No big deal?
It's amazing. That looks great. That's a great trailer, but it's so much. There's so much to dissect about that trailer. I feel like we won't have enough time. I know the Paolo's prepared a great many number of talking points for you guys, so you can look forward to that.
I'm just really, because you've played, a little, you've done a little action.
I've had a little dabble.
I haven't. I'm really jealous.
Yeah, so you guys had a gameplay segment at the EA conference, right?
Yep.
Which I'm proud to say that I was actually part of. I was. They recorded our gameplay, and I was flying around. I didn't do very well though, but I didn't actually see any of my clips used. In fact, which oh well.
No, I'm sure they were
I think I was destroyed a few times. But yeah,
so what happened in a dogfight?
I'm a pro at getting destroyed.
So that was a really cool thing to do. So yeah, a lot of us came down and we recorded it, and then it was an amazing little well-edited sort of battle of that map on Fondor, right? So yeah, let's go straight into it. What are we
Let's
talking
go
about?
into it. I mean, I saw Poe, Yoda, Boba Fett, Han, Luke, Kylo Ren, all these characters. That everyone. How do you even choose? How do you even get to the drawing board and actually choose all these characters? I know there's so many beloved characters in Star Wars.
That's I feel like, having watched that trailer no less than 50 times now, I still get goosebumps every time I watch it, because one of the things that we speak to, and we have spoken to from Go, is player fantasy, and there's definitely some fantasy fulfillment for our inner children, right? And like when it comes to who are we picking out of those things, a lot of that comes down to conversation about like, it would be really awesome. I would love to be playing as Yoda today. I would love to be playing as any number of these heroes today. I'd say that's where a lot of those conversations begin.
Yeah, and as many as we can fit in. I mean, who doesn't want to fly Darth Maul scimitar?
Very, very cool to fly as well. So he's got the stealth ability, right, and he can come out and do bonus damage. Again, I really, really enjoy playing as that one. But the hero ships are, obviously not everyone can play as them all the time, but you have to accrue points in game, right, to get them, and then you can spawn in as them and fly around and keep it as long as you can, basically.
That's right.
But as a hero ship, of course, you're more likely to be hunted down because it's so iconic. Like if you're flying the Falcon around, everyone's going to go after that. Everyone's going to be like, there's the big fun bus, let's go for it. And they just go straight for it. But yeah, Starfighter Assault, can you give a brief overview of the mode in general? Though you've got what Fondor, for example? Just give us an overview of Fondor.
Give us the elevator pitch. I'm here. I'm coming in to sell it to me.
So in Fondor, the rebels are attacking. The Imperials are defending the Imperial dockyard. To start with, the rebels have got to break down the enemy defenses. So there's some cinder turrets, and there's a couple of patrolling Imperial light cruisers, big ships that the rebels have got to take down. Once they manage to get the kind of external defenses down, they need to chase through the actual tunnel in the dock. And there's shield projectors that are protecting the whole dock that they need to take down. And there's 4 of those. So that gives you a kind of trench run moment that you're familiar with from the films. Finally, the Imperial Star Destroyer is still getting power from the dock. There's power couplings that are coming down and feeding it. The rebels have disabled those. There's a window of opportunity for the rebels to attack the reactor core of the Star Destroyer. If they manage to blow it up in 30 seconds, that's it, rebels win. If not, the clamps come back down, and the rebels have got to try again.
Awesome. So it's got this staged, objective-based mode, because you've got the ground-based mode, which is all about objectives, and now you've got a space battle mode, which has got, it's not just you're all flying around shooting each other, which is the first one had the in-atmosphere, sort of everyone's flying around shooting each other. And now you've actually got a mode where you really have to work together and focus on the objectives and play the right class for what you want to do. For example, I know the Y-wings and the TIE bombers have got that power to destroy the objectives a bit more. They're a bit slower, right? They can get caught out quite easily. And you've got obviously the classic X-wing, A-wing to fly around dogfighting, and the TIE fighters and all that. I mean, of course, we're fighting across all eras as well, though, right?
Yeah.
Every single era.
All 3 eras of Star Wars.
So we've got. How many maps have we got in Starfighter Assault then? How many are we talking about?
Well, we're showing Fondor today, and there will be more authentic Star Wars maps.
Well, we saw in the trailer, obviously, a great many there. I mean, I look forward to playing all of them.
I actually am very curious about the level of map design. How do you actually implement such a task to get all these people to be going in at such capacity?
It's difficult. Level design in space. I mean, on a normal kind of shooter or something, you've got a horizontal plane to work with. In space, it's a bit different. And also, when you first start, space is pretty empty. Our space isn't empty. We've got the dock, we've got turrets, we've got ships flying around, and then we've got, of course, all the other enemy fighters that you're fighting against as well. It's tricky, but I think we've managed to get a really good balance with the levels that we make.
Awesome. So as the Empire on Fondor, you're just, essentially your job is to simply stop the rebels by just killing players, essentially. But there are, when I played it, there's a few side objectives as well. There's some AI-controlled bombers, right, that come in. You can go and hunt them down, get a few bonus points. You know, I thought it was really interesting because it gives you a bit more of scope to do something than just shooting enemies, essentially. Because you know, when you're on attack on these type of modes, you feel like, awesome, I've got to go do this, I've got to do that, I've got to do this. But on defense, you can be like, well, I'm just going to shoot them all, and it can be a bit of a slug. But I do like that you've got this bonus objectives you can actually choose to go and do, like, which is I think really good. And you've got there are AI-controlled ships as well, right, flying in amongst the players. So it's not just it's 10v10, right? Or is it 12v12? 12v12. But there are, it feels a lot bigger than 12v12 because you've got so much going on. You've got the turrets, you've got the AI-controlled ships, so it feels like a really hectic, kind of chaotic, and that's what you guys wanted, presumably.
Epic space battles. So there's a lot of AI fighters flying around, and then there's also the creeps, as you say. We don't want the defenders just to be defending and just shooting down other ships. If you're a bomber, you want some targets too. So you'll see there's the Rebel corvettes that come in phase 1. They work through phase 2 and phase 3, and if the Empire don't deal with them, then they kind of can really turn the tide of the match.
I remember that, yeah. So the Rebel corvettes, they're a one-time spawn thing. Then once they're gone, they're out of the game.
That's it.
So if you leave them, because sometimes it can be easy if you're just going after you want to kill players, right? It's a multiplayer game. You want to go after the players, but if you leave them, they can really do some damage to the objectives, and then you might end up losing, basically. Is that what?
And to your point, like you're describing something that's been like a beautiful revelation over time, and also when you talk about the design of these maps in space, is that we will see different types of play reveal themselves, where we'll see somebody who's like, you know what, I think I'm going to go all the way under this entire field and sneak attack these people from the back. And we've also got player types who are self-defined, in that they'll say, you know what, I feel like maybe I'm not the best pilot in the world, but I can definitely take out that Corvette that's incoming, or I can definitely run a defensive line here. So you'll see people very naturally combing the outside of the field while they say, my buddy over here is a much better pilot. I'm going to let him take out the one-to-one combat, and I'm going to be fortifying.
I found myself doing that.
Yeah.
Basically, I could see there were people playing who are way better at actually like dogfighting, so I just got in the Y-wing and I was like, I'm just going to bomb all the turrets. I'm just going to go for something that's stationary that I can hit. Like that was what I wanted to do.
That is a huge contribution, which when you're on a team that actually has those players, you know it. Because if you're not, you're just taking fire from all sides. But if you feel like you're having a relatively cozy match playing through, it's probably because somebody is out there disabling defenses on your behalf.
Team player.
So well done.
Keep that up. Play. What else are we going to talk about, Pam?
Well, you know what? You guys are covering so much from Phantom Menace, The Last Jedi, Clone of the Wars, like Ryloth and Yoda in the Starfighter. Like, you see him in there. There's a lot of story. We have so much to cover right there. How did you guys get this story base to map out in this Star Wars universe for this game?
Well, we work really closely with Lucas. I mean, they've been great for us, and every single time we come up with a new idea and a new map, we run it by them, talk to them about it, they come up with more ideas. And we really wanted to try and introduce at least a little bit of narrative to our levels, even though they don't have a story. Every level has a narrative and has a sequence.
Well, it's got like a little starting sequence where you can see, and then an ending sequence as well. So there is
fun.
exactly. So it's a multiplayer experience, but because it's like I said, there's different things going on, AI ships and that. It can feel more like a natural kind of story. It does, like you said, it does kind of feel like a story experience as well. It's kind of mixed in, and it is a mode as well. I think it will be cemented as like, a main mode for this game, right? You want this to be one of the flagship modes. I mean, we all know the ground-based mode, objective modes. That's going to be great. But having another mode that's so in-depth like this is really good, because it means that you've always got that chance to just go, I'm sick of being a droid running around trying to make my way in the world. I'm going to go up and be a starfighter pilot and be a badass, essentially.
Well, I just want to know, like, I am not the best, dogfighter out there. I want to learn, and this kind of motivates me because I want to open up these ships. I want to be able to get those little trailer stories. Any little piece, I think, makes everyone excited. Do you have any tips for our newcomers coming into these dogfights?
Well, I mean, you can start by changing the classes. If you start with a bomber class, like in your experience, I love the bomber, but it is probably the easiest way to get in. You're aiming for the objectives. You're trying to help your team along. You'll occasionally get into a little dogfight and have a little play with that. But it means you don't have to be focused on, trying to take down these other ace pilots the whole time.
Exactly. And basically, the faster the ship, the harder it is to kind of like get, control. But we'll talk about the controls briefly, because obviously last game we had like maneuvers, and the ship wasn't as controllable as maybe people would have liked. But this one, it's full control, right? You can just do the ship however you like.
Yeah, so we rebuilt the handling model for every ship from the ground up. And every class and every ship should feel different. The hero ships as well, they should feel different. And so what we put in there is a lot of freedom with the controls, but we've also got some helpers. Like we still have auto roll option where it can keep you kind of horizontally aligned, but all that stuff you can turn off and play with in the settings, so you can make it as advanced as you like.
And that's what I was going to touch on, because after playing it for about half an hour, I was feeling like I must be doing something wrong. I was like, I must be doing something wrong. I went into the settings, I had a bit of a play, I changed a few of the stick combos around. Yeah. I changed something to like, alternate, the fighter stick to alternate, and then it felt right for me. I was like, okay, this is much better, I feel. But I can see that level of customization is really important for people to be able to like change how they want to fly it, essentially, rather than just being stuck going, well, I'll just have to do it this way. So that's really, really cool to hear. Enjoy that.
It sounds an amazing game mode. I think everyone's going to be really excited. What were the most challenges doing something like this? Because you're still trying to correlate with the actual game, and still keep that mode relevant, but also, introduce this to the world.
Actually, with Starfighter Assault, the biggest challenge probably was with the level design. As we mentioned earlier, trying to make some space exciting can be difficult at times.
Populated and make it action-packed. You don't want it to feel just vapid and empty. You want it to feel like it's kicking off, which it does.
That epic scale has been an interesting thing to capture, because it's very easy for it to stray one way or the other, where maybe it's feeling a little too epic. In fact, it's feeling chaotic, but we definitely don't want it to feel like, I wish there was somebody here to fight with. So getting that balance just right, because we want to have an epic battle there for our players, but we don't want them to feel overwhelmed, but we definitely want them to feel challenged.
Awesome. Well,
that's incredible.
Incredible.
So
Lots of information, but there we go. That's all we've got time for on Battlefront 2. Really, really looking forward to playing this moment it comes out. I'm looking forward to all the different maps as well. Very, very exciting.